So we'll start this sequence lying down. Just get comfortable, bring a hand to your belly, hand to your chest. Start breathing, feeling the connection with your breath, feeling your belly rising. And then bringing your right knee into your chest. Just give it a little squeeze. Left knee. Just get both knees into the chest and take a little rock side to side, just massaging out your lower back. And then bringing your feet to your hands and taking happy baby, rocking side to side, nice and gently, just warming up. And then bringing the knees straight so that your legs are up above you, feet pointing towards the sky, gently lowering your left leg so your right leg is still lifted. And just take the hands behind the calf and just gently bring that leg towards you, stretching out your hamstring. And then you can just gently bring the leg out to the right hand side, trying to keep that left glute on the floor and your both feet engaged. And then bringing the leg back in, we're going to take it across the body, letting your right arm come out to the side, feeling a gentle twist. Bringing it back up to the middle and bringing your left leg up, and we're going to just take a hamstring stretch here, so crossing your legs into a figure 4 shape, gently pulling the left thigh in towards you. And taking nice deep breaths, breathing into the thigh, trying to keep both feet active here so that you're really getting the most out of the stretch. Then we're just bringing both legs back to the centre, toes facing you, and right leg gently coming down as we go for the same on the left hand side. So bringing that left knee in towards you and then reaching behind the leg. You can bring your hands to your thigh or to your calf, whatever feels better. Just gently pulling that leg towards you and then out to the side, and just bring it as far as feels good as you get a stretch. Bringing the leg back up and taking it across your body. So it might not go very far. Just play with what feels nice. Trying to keep both shoulders on the floor. Bring your left arm out beside you. Back through the center. And then bringing both legs in towards your chest, giving yourself a nice little hug, rocking side to side. And then placing the feet down on the floor, hands on the floor, and we're just going to take bridge, so lifting the hips up, pushing through the feet, squeezing the thighs together, pushing your hands into the floor as well, trying to keep a nice straight line with the body, not letting your hips sink. If you want to bring your arms, interlacing your fingers under your back, then feel free to. Just keeping those hips nice and lifted, using your core, and gently lowering down to the mat. Lifting up once more, and then slowly coming down. We're just going to take a few of these bridge pulses, so lowering down, lifting up, really squeezing your glutes at the top here, starting to activate them, getting ready for the full practice. Lowering down, lifting those hips up, back down, lifting up, down again, and this time lifting up really slowly and coming back down really nice and slowly as well. Bringing your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. And we're just going to start taking some little rocks up to a seat. So rocking back. If you want to bring your legs over your head, please do. Otherwise, just keep rocking back and forwards until you're in a seat and you can stay there. I'm rocking onto my feet at the front of the mat and slowly rising up to stand. Head is the last thing to come up. Just taking some circles with the wrists, starting to warm those up. And taking some nice big circles with the head as well, just gently warming up the top of the spine. Nice big inhale, reaching up overhead, and then folding forwards down towards the floor, lifting up, halfway lift, looking up, exhaling, placing the hands on the mat, stepping back into a plank, bringing your knees, your thighs, your belly, your heart down to the mat, squeezing your elbows in towards the body, lifting up, upward dog, tucking the toes, hips to the sky for Urdhva Mukha, Svanasana, downward dog, looking to the hands, coming forwards, halfway lift, folding back down, and then rising all the way up to stand. Hands coming through the middle and down by your side. I'm going to take that sun salutation once more, so folding forwards, lifting the head, straight spine, halfway lift, placing the hands, stepping or jumping back, coming through either all the way to the floor or chaturanga, and then lifting the hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Maybe you want to walk with your feet, trying to lift your tailbone up towards the sky, looking to your hands, jumping or walking towards them at the front of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, inhale, all the way up. Hands come through the heart center, down by your side. Once more, inhale, rise up. This time we're coming into chair pose, Utkatasana. So bums out behind you, knees are bent, trying to keep those arms up by your ears, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Place the hands on the mat, step or hop back into plank. Coming down through your chaturanga, lifting your hip up to the sky for downward facing dog. Bringing that right leg up behind you, or placing it between the hands at the front of the mat, rising up, warrior one. As we exhale, we place the hands back down on the mat, stepping back, lowering back down through chaturanga, and then lifting your hips to the sky for downward facing dog. Left leg comes up this time, placing it between the hands at the front of the mat, rising up, warrior one. Nice bend in the front leg. Back leg is pointed out 45, placing the hands down the mat, stepping back and rocking forwards, lowering down through that flow, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Just walking out your feet a bit here, looking to the hands, walking or stepping towards them, walking or jumping towards them at the front of your mat, folding forwards, halfway lift, exhaling to fold again, and inhaling to slowly come up all the way to standing. Bring your hands down by your side for Uttanasana. Stepping back with the right leg here, high lunge, trying to use your breath to deepen the lunge a bit. So inhaling to lift and exhaling to get a little bit deeper into the posture. Nice 45-degree angle with the front leg, knee doesn't come over the ankle, and on your exhale, twisting to the right. Inhaling to bring your arms back overhead, hands coming through the heart center, and we're going to twist over to the right, bringing the outside of the left arm to the outside of the right leg. Trying to keep your palms together, trying to keep that nice bend in the front leg. Coming back up for your high lunge, bringing that left hand to the inside of your foot, opening up, nice straight line from the hand that's in the sky, and then framing the foot, both feet coming to the back of the mat, plank, holding a plank, nice straight line from the crown of your head to your heels, rocking forwards, rocking back, squeezing your core, squeezing your glutes here, and then we're slowly lowering down. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Just walking out again, the feet really lifting that tailbone to the sky, not putting any weight in the wrists, lifting the weight through the body, and then looking to the hands, coming to the front of the mat, folding forwards, inhaling halfway lift, exhaling to fold, inhale to rise all the way up to stand. Right leg is coming back this time. Left is forward, rising up, high lunge. And doing the same thing, so inhaling to just lift a little and exhaling to sink a little bit deeper into the posture. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to sink. Using your breath to create space in the body. Nice and controlled. Back foot is strong. And then exhaling, twisting towards the front leg. Inhaling to come back up, bringing the hands into a prayer. And twisting to hook the right arm to the outside of the left leg, trying to keep both arms in my straight line. Breathing here, and then inhaling to rise back up, bringing the right hand to the inside of the foot, opening up for a side twist. Framing that front foot, stepping back into plank, and slowly lowering yourself down. Inhaling, lift the chest. Exhaling, lift the hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. Trying to keep a nice straight line from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Looking towards your belly button if you can. Really lifting the heels off the mat if you need to. And looking towards the hands, walking towards them, folding forwards. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling to fold. Rising all the way up to stand. Hands coming through the heart center. Down by your side. Tadasana. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Inhaling, folding forwards. Taking opposite elbows and rocking side to side, keeping the knees nice and bent. I love how this stretches out the backs of my legs, and I feel my hips opening here too. And then placing hands on the mat, halfway lift, hands on the mat, stepping or hopping back to a plank, and lowering all the way down. Inhaling, lifting the chest, upward dog. Exhaling for downward facing dog. Nice deep breaths. And then lifting the right leg up behind you, looking to the hands, placing the foot between the hands. We're coming into warrior two here. So back foot is parallel with the short side of the mat. Front foot's facing the front of the mat. We're going to reach forwards, bring the palm to the sky and reverse the warrior. You can keep the hand down by your side or you can bring it behind the back. Trying to make sure that your knee doesn't go over your ankle. And then opening up, we're coming into goddess. So both feet are pointing towards the corners of the mat. Nice bend, trying to tuck your tailbone in. Just bringing the hands out either side of you. Seeing if you can lift up onto the balls of your feet. Using your breath here. Just because it's challenging doesn't mean we lose that connection with our breath. And then slowly trying to sink a little bit deeper if you can. Coming up, bringing the feet in, bringing your hands to your hips. And then just folding forwards, hinging from the hips. You can bring your hands down towards the floor if you like. You can bring them to your shins, wherever feels good. We're just stretching the backs of the legs here. Nice deep breaths. And then walking the hands back towards you, using your belly to rise up. Right foot comes towards the front, facing the front of the mat. We're going to take Trikonasana. So opening up the chest. Back foot's parallel to the short side of the mat. Nice straight line from the top fingertips to the bottom ones. And then placing that right hand on the mat in front of you. Lifting the back leg if you can. For half moon. Trying to keep that back leg nice and engaged, keeping the foot strong. And then gently placing it back behind you, reaching forwards and twisting to the other side this time for reverse trikonasana. Inhaling to come back to center, windmilling the hands to frame the front foot, coming into plank, lowering down, inhaling, lifting the chest, upward dog, exhaling, lifting the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. That little flow was challenging, so just make sure you're still connected with the breath. And then we're going to bring up the left leg behind, placing it between the front hands, the only hands, the two hands, bending the front knee, opening up warrior two on this side. Trying to keep your arms in a nice straight line, reaching forwards, getting the palm towards the sky, reversing the warrior. So lifting the left hand up overhead, right hand down by the leg or behind your back. Checking your alignment, making sure that that back foot is really glued to the mat. You can feel the outside pushing down, opening up, and then bringing that left foot so that it's facing the diagonal corner of the mat, and we're taking goddess on this side. So both feet are pointing like to the corners of the mat diagonally, and then we're just squatting down, remembering to tuck that tailbone. We're not sticking the bum out here. See if you can use your breath to sink a little bit deeper. Nice big inhale, and then coming a bit deeper down. See if you can shuffle your feet in, then we're bringing the hands together behind the back and folding forwards. Hi. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, trying to keep the palms connected. Nice deep stretch in the backs of the legs. See if you can sink a little bit deeper, and slowly using your core, lifting back up, taking that left foot to face the front of the mat, reaching forwards, coming down, trikonasana. On this side, feeling the stretch all the way up your right side body, sending the breath there, opening up your chest, and then coming into half moon. So left hand comes down to a block or the mat in front or the floor in front of you, trying to keep a nice straight line between your top fingertips and those on the floor. Back leg is engaged. Imagine you're pushing against the wall behind you, fake wall behind you, and then gently releasing, opening out, reaching forwards, and then bringing the right hand to the outside of the left ankle for reverse trikonasana. Twist should be initiated from the torso, breathing deeply into it, opening back up, windmilling the hands to frame the foot, and rocking down, forwards, chaturanga, inhaling, lifting the chest, exhaling, downward facing dog. Just walking out the feet a little bit. Trying to keep that nice straight spine. See if you can look toward your belly button. And then if you want to come down onto your forearms here for dolphin, please do. If you want to come into child's pose, please do. I'm going to stay in dolphin. And also if you want to make an inversion, then this is your time to take a headstand or a handstand. So just walking the feet towards you, squeezing the belly, bringing both legs up. If you don't know how to do a headstand, then leave this bit out, just stay in the child's pose. If you do, then feel free to play around. And then when you're ready, coming down safely and slowly, and taking a child's pose to counterbalance the headstand, just reaching the fingertips towards the front of the mat, knees as wide as the mat, pushing your hips back towards your heels. Nice deep breaths. Just slowing it all down. And when you're ready, I'm just going to come onto all fours. Take a couple of cat-cows, rounding the spine, inhaling to drop the belly, exhaling to round the spine, and then tucking the toes, lifting the hips back into downward facing dog. Walking the hands towards the feet towards the hands, folding forwards at the front of the mat. Halfway lift, exhaling to fold, and inhaling to come all the way up to standing. Hands come slowly through your heart center and down by your side. Just taking a bit of a wider stance here and sitting back into Utkatasana, chair pose. You can have the big toes touching if you like, bringing the hands down through your heart center. Just going to twist to the right hand side. So hooking that left arm to the outside of the right leg. Trying to keep your bum as low as possible. Coming back through the middle and twisting to the other side. So you can see I've got my arms in a nice straight line here, elbow to elbow. Try your hardest to get it the same. Then coming back through the center. Gently coming a bit further down and then folding forwards as you exhale. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands. Jump or step back into a plank. Rocking forwards, coming down through chaturanga, up facing dog. Lifting the hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. Just walking out the feet a little bit. Right leg is coming up behind us. We're bringing it to the nose, up behind, to the right elbow. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, to the left elbow, holding. And then threading the foot through and opening up into fallen star. If you want to bring your bum to the ground here, feel free to. And then we will bring the bum to the ground, reaching up, taking the right hand to the left hand, to the left foot, reaching over with the right hand. Coming back through the middle, walking the hands forwards. So you fold forwards, trying to keep a straight spine here, so it doesn't matter. We're not trying to bring the nose to the floor or anything. Just feeling that stretch in the backs of the legs. Nice deep breaths. And then walking the hands back towards you. Coming to the front of the mat and trying to come back out the way we came in. So pushing onto the left foot. Right foot comes up behind. And then we're bringing that right foot forwards into pigeon. Opening the chest here, and as you exhale, if you want to come down to deepen the stretch, you can come forwards onto your forearms. Try to make sure that the back leg is in a nice straight line. You don't let the foot just flop out to the side. Just breathing nice and deeply into that right hip. Enjoying the nice deep stretch here. Walking the hands back up, opening the chest, and if you want to take the back foot to come into mermaid, then please feel free to. Otherwise, just staying in pigeon for a couple of breaths longer, and then bringing that right foot back up behind, back down to the mat. We're back in downward facing dog. Left leg's coming up behind, through the middle towards your nose. Inhaling up behind, exhaling to the left elbow. Inhaling up behind, exhaling to the right elbow. Back up behind. And then crossing the body, bringing that foot out to the side, opening up, fallen star. Gently placing the bum on the floor, inhaling, hands coming up overhead. We're coming over to the right hand side this time, so right hand towards the right leg, wherever it comes to. Goal isn't necessarily the foot. Can come to the knee, to the but don't put any pressure on your knee. Just you can bring it to the floor next to your knee. Opening up the left side body. Inhaling, rising up, exhaling, coming forwards to take that forward fold. Once more, wide-legged seated, forward fold. Walking the hands back, bringing them to the front of the mat, pushing into that right foot, left foot comes up behind, and then we're bringing it behind the left wrist for pigeon on this side. So right leg is nice and straight behind you, reaching up with the chest, and then as you exhale, if you want to come forwards onto your forearms, bringing the forehead towards the floor to deepen the stretch. Nice deep breaths. Noticing the difference between the left side and the right side. Often much more open on one side than the other. I'm always more open on my left side for some reason. Nice big inhale as you start to walk the hands back towards you. You can stay here, or if you want to bring that back foot up, try and grab it, bring it to the inside of your elbow. Take both hands together for mermaid. And then letting the foot come back behind you. Caress your leg a little like I appear to be doing. And then hands to the front of the mat. Left leg up behind, back down. Downward facing dog. Walking or hopping towards the mat, front of the mat. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold forwards. Rising nice and slowly all the way up to standing. Hands come through the heart center, down by your side. And then you can come to the front of your mat. We're just going to come into a figure 4 stretch like we did when we were lying down, but on your right leg. Bring your hands to your heart center, pushing your bum back, and then rising up, kicking that leg out in front of you and crossing it over the standing leg to come into eagle. And doing the same with your arms, so crossing your right arm over your left, trying to get the backs of the palms together, all your palms together, reaching up through the fingertips for a nice eagle. Really grounding through that left leg, and then kicking through that right leg, kicking the left leg out behind you as we come into warrior 3 with eagle arms. Bringing the leg back down, shaking it all out, and crossing the right leg over the left into the figure 4 stretch. Seeing if you can come a little bit lower, trying to keep that foot nice and engaged. And rising back up, crossing that right leg over the left as we come into eagle. And the same with the arms, so left over right this time. Sinking a little deeper. Unraveling and kicking that right leg out behind you. Keeping the eagle arms as we come into warrior 3 with eagle arms. So trying to really ground through that left foot, keeping everything nice and engaged, squeezing your belly, and then gently bringing that foot back down, exhaling, halfway lift, jumping or stepping back and rocking through your flow, inhaling to lift the chest, exhaling, slowly and gently bringing your hips to the sky for downward facing dog. Walking out the backs of the feet, the legs, coming to the front of the mat in a malasana squat, wiggling side to side a little bit. Just going to bring the right hand around the leg, opening up the left hand to the sky, and then bringing it back to the middle and taking it to the other side. Left arm comes around left leg, right arm comes to the sky. Hands back to the center, bringing your hands onto the mat. We're going to try a crow position, so bending the elbows and trying to bring the knees towards your armpits. We're resting the legs on the upper arms, on the outside of the upper arms, looking forwards and squeezing your core, squeezing your feet together, coming back down onto the mat, and then into a nice plank, rocking forwards and down, inhaling, lift the chest, exhaling, downward facing dog. Looking towards the hands, hopping towards them at the front of the mat, exhaling, folding forwards, inhaling, halfway lift, exhaling, and then inhaling to rise all the way back up to standing. Hands down by your side. Just taking a little twist side to side, just releasing the spine a little bit. And then pushing back into Utkatasana and slowly coming all the way down to the mat. Bringing the feet together into diamond shape. Just reaching up through the crown of your head and gently just leaning forwards towards the legs, opening your hips. Doesn't need to be much movement here. And then we're going to cross the right leg over the left as we reach the hands to the sky and just take the left arm to the outside of the right leg. Look behind us for a twist. Breathing nice and deeply into spine, just feeling that nice gentle twist. And then letting that right leg fall down on top of the left, or you can just cross the legs normally. We're taking eagle arms again, and reaching up through the fingertips, just opening the shoulders, breathing into the space between the shoulders, feeling space that we're creating in the hips with this leg position, and then just taking the other side. So right foot comes under left bum cheek, left leg crosses over, and we're twisting to the left hand side. Taking the right arm to the outside of the left leg if you want to, looking over that left shoulder. Nice deep breaths. Just being gentle, feeling your heart rate start to slow down, letting that left leg fall on top of the right, and taking eagle arms again, reaching up to the sky through the fingertips. Nice slow deep breaths, unraveling your arms and your legs. Coming into a seated position, we're lifting the legs up for Navasana. You can bring your hands behind your thighs, or you can bring them out in front of you. Squeezing the belly, trying to keep your torso lifted, so not letting your back fall backwards. Give yourself a little hug, rocking down. Taking a few of those rocks that we took at the beginning. Just letting yourself come down to the mat, and then we're coming into a shoulder stand. So bringing your hands to the lowest back, lifting your legs up overhead. And then if you want to play with what you're doing with your legs, maybe bringing one down, bringing the other down, just have a play around, otherwise keeping them lifted or just lying down on the mat, whatever. If you want to bring the legs all the way overhead, interlace the fingers, then that option is also available. And then slowly releasing, supporting the lower back to come back through shoulder stand and then all the way down, supporting yourself on the way down, letting the legs come out in a nice straight line. Just going to take the counter posture for shoulder stand, which is a fish, so you can bring your hands under your glutes, just lifting the chest up off the mat. If you want to come onto the crown of your head, that's also an option to make it a bit deeper, but if you have anything going on with the neck, it's not a great move. And gently releasing, bringing both knees into the chest, giving yourself a hug. I've had loads of hugs in this practice. Hands to the outside of the feet, happy baby, knees in towards the armpits, rocking side to side. And when you're ready, just taking maybe one foot out to the side, the other foot out. Bring your forehead towards the knees, and then when you're ready, just taking your final resting posture, savasana. Slowing down the breath, letting yourself sink into the mat beneath you, feeling all the goodness from the practice just soaking in.